As we are, good morning to you. We're here at the Johnson City Country Club, the Tom Taylor Sports Show number 590. They said it wouldn't work, but it is going strong. The golf course playing. We know Chuck, great guy, basketball coach at Happy Valley, huge sponsor of and Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Of course, he's a pastor in Carter County. Also, Wendy Royston. Wendy, now, real quick before we go to the break, tell us about the FCA Flames baseball team, because she and Mike, her husband, I didn't know this till this morning, they founded the team way back in the day. So tell me about the FCA Flames.
Well, FCA has a whole branch. One of our C's is called community ministry. That's not school-based. And that might be travel teams. It might be the sports rec leagues. And there are 50 million kids playing sports outside of the school systems in America. So that's a huge mission field. And one of those teams and leagues formed about 4 years ago called the Flames Baseball, and it's specifically for homeschooled kids or kids that otherwise wouldn't be able to be part of a school team, and they wanted to play and compete in baseball. And so one kid who's very, very good, Cullen Royston, he was one of their players. His mom and dad wanted somewhere he could play, and so they got some other parents together and they said, hey, why don't we form a little baseball league or team for homeschoolers, and we'll see if we can compete with some other schools. And so they threw the idea out there, and I've spoken at their youth group. They used to be at Indian Ridge Baptist Church. They were the youth directors there several years ago, volunteer youth directors, and I've spoken at that to their youth group up there, so I knew the Roystons, and we just got to talking, and they are a FCA affiliated baseball club, and they're very competitive. They pour into the kids. They have huddle times. We give them Bibles every year. We teach the kids. They have leaders that rise up. They've got kids that lead other huddle groups, and everything they do, they have a meeting on the mound an hour before the game, and they'll meet on the mound and have it's a message on the mound, and it's a devotional before, and it'll be student led most of the time. Sometimes they'll have guest speakers, but everything that they do is again for the man that hung on the cross. I mean, they make it Christ centered, and they've even had other teams where they'll pray after the game, and those kids will be a missionary to those other kids that might be playing on another team. So there's Christian athletes everywhere. There's Christian coaches everywhere, and I remind them all the time. I said, you are a Christian who happens to be a baseball player. You're not a baseball player who happens to be a Christian, and there's a big difference. Same with a coach. Coach, you are a Christian first that happens to be a coach. You happen to be a husband, a father, whatever, but you're a Christian first. And in our society, we get that mixed up. We get our identity mixed up in what we do first that happens to be a Christian, and that relationship with Christ oftentimes comes second, and it needs to come first. And so that's what we kind of point them to in FCA. So it's a great little group. We got some out there, right? Yeah, they've been helping us fill coolers and deliver drinks, and that's the best thing about having homeschool kids. They're available on a Monday, but they love it. Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. Come back. We will, speaking of baseball, we're going to be talking about the Dodgers, who are not hot. The Cardinals, the Indians are hot. We've got a team's already clinched in the National League for the pennant. So we've got baseball coming up. We're going to talk college football. We'll go to Northern Virginia, talk to Mike Hedrick live, our NASCAR fan reporter, getting ready for the Chase, which starts this weekend in Chicagoland. Martin Truex Jr. will be in the catbird seat as far as the points heading off to Chicago. We'll talk about that. Of course, college football, the polls are out this week. Tennessee, everybody's celebrating Tennessee beating Indiana State. Woo. So not exactly Georgia or Florida, but, a win is a win is a win. They're 2-0. The Hokies are 2-0. East Tennessee State took one on the chin. They're back home this week. We'll talk about that. So we got college football. Pro football, don't want to gloat, but how about the Raiders? My boys.
And the Cowboys.
Oh, yes. Jason Witten, we'll talk about him setting a record. Young man who's guaranteed punched his ticket to Canton, Ohio for the Hall of Fame. But my boys went in. I told you it's going to be a butt whooping. They went into Nashville and put a whooping on the Titans. So the Raiders back home for the Jets this weekend. So NFL football, college football, baseball, NASCAR. We've got local sports, big weekend of high school football coming up Friday night. All that between now and 1 o'clock. Up next, we'll take a break, and we'll come right back and check in with my man who is out in the woods and doing things in the name of the Lord. It's called FCA Outdoors. Young man from Irwin, Tennessee, now in Portland, Tennessee. Matt Swinehart joins us next here live at the Johnson City Country Club. Again, the Fellowship of Christian Athlete Golf Tournament right here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show number 590. They said it wouldn't work, and going strong here again on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Blue Lizard Australian sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Chevy Summer Drive to unbelievable savings at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. With a selection of over 600 new Chevys to choose from, don't miss out on the Chevy Summer Drive sale. 17 Silverado Crew Cab 1LT, $11,000 off MSRP. 17 Equinox Traction Traverse, $5,000 off MSRP. 17 Cruisin' Sonic, 25% off MSRP. Shop us online 24/7 and don't forget our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the crossings in North Johnson City.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
We're back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. Show number 590. We're live at the Johnson City Country Club. Love this country club. This is a cool place, and maybe we get some folks on the country club before it's all said and done to give a plug, because this is one of the premier country clubs in the entire state of Tennessee, one of the older ones, and you would not think it was as old as it was, as nice as it is. They take great care of it out here, and that's where we are again with the FCA golf tournament. Coming up, we're going to talk a little baseball. Daniel Norris got put in the bullpen for Detroit, and he responded. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a few. But first, you see on camera our buddy Matt Swinehart with FCA Outdoors from Irvine, Tennessee, but now he's in Portland, Tennessee. Played baseball for Charlie Baxter, didn't you?
Yes, sir, sure did.
Yeah. What position?
Played second base.
Second base.
1995, Unicoi County High School. I guess back in that time was a little bit of a rivalry between the schools in Johnson City and around here in East Tennessee. Was always baseball at that time in my life was big, really big, and I was fortunate enough to play there and play in a few state championships, and fortunate enough to win one in 1995, and that was just a really exciting time for me, and it was provided me the opportunity to move on and play college baseball.
Most of us never get a chance to play in a state championship scenario, let alone win one. I know this is a goofy question, but what was it like? Go back to that day and that time frame in your life that you not only played in a state championship, you came home as a state champion in baseball for the entire state of Tennessee.
Yeah, Tom, it was It's one of those times that sticks in your brain. There's a lot of things that you just forget about and just go on, but it's one of those times that really sticks there. The whole experience was just, it's like any championship. Anytime you're going to go to something that's the pinnacle of what you're striving for, just like in FCA, as things we strive for to express God's love and His Word for everyone that we do is just a great moment. And so that time was something that you always look forward to as a kid in high school at Unicoi County, because baseball at that time was really important to us, and that was just what you did. You made it to the state tournament, and you didn't finish the year off if you didn't win it and come back with that ring. And so just to be with those guys, I still am friends with a lot of those guys that played on that team. We were a young team. We were all juniors. We only had 2 seniors, and went in 1995 and finished it off with the state championship. It was just amazing the time for us to share together, and they get that ring, and it's not special, but you have that ring to put on your finger, and just to be able to say you were a state champion for high school in Tennessee it was no other feeling that I've had so far in my life as that.
Yeah, and you made a great point. You went to the pinnacle, the top of the mountain in the sport in which that was the goal, and you did it. So, and of course, with Charlie Baxter, Unicoi County did it more than once. He was synonymous. He is now retired, of course, with success. But again, Matt was part of that team that won the state championship. What'd you say, 95?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
1995. So we go from 1995 to 2017 with FCA Outdoors. Tell us about it.
FCA Outdoors. All I can say is God's blessing. I was introduced to the area director where I currently am in northern Middle Tennessee, and my wife and I were supporters of FCA, and I also already had a friend who is an area director in Arizona that I played college baseball with, and he has moved on, took God's call to become an area director in Arizona. And so I knew about FCA and what it does and what they were doing, and we were invited to be table host at the Northern Middle Tennessee banquet, which the area director there, Jason McCormick, is my son's baseball coach also. And so we became friends, and my wife and I said, sure, we know about FCA, we'd love to be a table host, we'll go and be there. So we were there supporting them and sitting there, and it was just one of those moments, God speaking to, the Holy Spirit was just moving on me. I'd been searching for something for a while to do for God. I felt like He was calling me to do some other type of something for Him. I just didn't know what it was, whether it was lead a Bible study at church or whatever. It was just something I need to get more involved for Him, and I had no idea He was calling me to do this. And so I prayed about it, talked with my wife, and I called Jason up and I said, hey man, I feel like God's calling me to do something with FCA, and I got something that I want to run by you. Would you be interested in hearing about it? And he said, sure, let's have lunch. So we had lunch and we sat down, and I said, I want to be an FCA rep, but I don't want to do what you do. And he kind of looked at me funny and thought, well, this guy's crazy. And I said, here's what I want to do. Here's the outdoor ministry that I love. I was born and raised hunting and fishing in East Tennessee, the mountains, walking these mountains all my life. And I just felt God's call in my life that He said, you need to do this. Here's what you need to do. I was just searching the internet on FCA, looking at stuff. Just like your show is online, and it reaches so many people, and it's out there so far. I was just searching for something. And for some reason, the outdoors popped up. And I said, God said, this is what you're supposed to do. And I went and met with Him, and here we are. It's really progressing toward what we need to do. And I'm so excited that God has blessed us, and for Steve McCulley, what he's doing here in East Tennessee, for giving me the opportunity to sit down with you and talk about it. It's really exciting.
Yeah, and so again, we're talking to Matt Swinehart. Got baseball coming up. We'll take a look at the big leagues, and of course the Appalachian League Championship decided over the weekend. The Elizabethton Twins brought home the championship again to Carter County in Northeast Tennessee, so eliminating and defeating the Pulaski Yankees to win the Appalachian League. So now all of our focus, of course, is on Major League Baseball, with Happy Leagues gone and done for 2017. So we'll talk baseball coming up in a moment. We were talking before we went on the air. This particular part of FCA is good because these kids are involved in FCA Outdoors, didn't play basketball or didn't want to play football, didn't want to play all the other big sports, if you will, in high school. So they kind of morphed and headed towards the outdoors, and it's still a chance to reach these kids.
Absolutely. As Steve mentioned earlier, the community base for this ministry is going to be really huge, because everything that these kids are doing, like we just talked about, they're shooting archery. There's a program called NAS, National Archery in the School Program. There is trap and skeet shooting these kids are doing. There is kayaking and kayak fishing, and what's really going big and huge right now is the Tennessee Bass Nation. It's a Tennessee High School Fishing League. It is huge. You should go and do a show there, Tom. You should call those guys up. They're fishing. This is past Saturday. Their first tournament was Nickajack. They just fished in Chattanooga at Nickajack. You can look their lineup, their schedule online. It's all there. Just contact the people there and say, hey, look, I do a sports radio show. I'm a big FCA guy. I'd love to come and sit up there for one tournament weekend and just sit there and interview people. It'd be amazing. So it'd be a good idea. We'll get together. When we get done here, I'll be lovely to show you with some of the folks that I know. But like I said, high school fishing is blown up, so that's there. And these kids are coming, and you see them around school and stuff when you go to a school as their area rep, and you're like, hey, you guys come in the huddle, or hey, you guys involved in what FCA? Not really. We thought that was just for football, basketball, and baseball, the big three they like to call it in high school sports. And so we really felt like these kids, we were losing them. Not that we want them just to be part of FCA, but we were losing them that we have a chance to share the gospel with them and what God has done and how we can change their lives. And so Outdoors is taking that on, wanting to take that on and reach these kids. We're going to use the same skeleton as the FCA does with huddles, character coaches, those kind of things. But we're going to use the outdoors to reach these kids. And so what I lean toward community is everything that's happened. You can't just get on campus. Campus has got a gym, they got a football field, they got a baseball field, and mom and dad can come drop them off. They can go to practice in an hour and a half, 2 hours, they can come pick them back up. These things these kids are doing outside, mom and dad's got to come with them. And so we're going to be able to capture not only the kids, but also hopefully adult groups that also we're going to try to start and have a kind of more of a community group in FCA.
And it's not just guys. I would assume girls are involved.
Oh, absolutely. Right? Girls are actually better shots at archery than the guys are. For some reason, they got better aim than the guys do. They can shoot almost just as good or better than the guys do. And that's what I say when I have an event. Sometimes you want to lean toward outdoors, kind of leans toward dad and son, because that's kind of the culture they grew up. But I'm trying to stay away from that. I want it to be parent and child. Because mom may want to bring daughter and shoot skeet. Or mom may bring daughter and shoot bow and arrow. So we're wanting to reach the whole community, the whole area, and be on campus and have these kids feel like there's a Christian organization like FCA that they can come and be a part of. They don't have to play football, basketball, baseball.
That is awesome. That's incredible. So, again, Matt Swinehart with us. Again, coming up, we're going to be talking baseball. Top of the hour, we'll go to Northern Virginia to our weekly report. Our buddy Mike Hedrick, the NASCAR fans reporter, getting ready for the chase, getting cranked up this weekend at Chicagoland. Plus, we had a little problem in Richmond, and NASCAR's taking a beating over it with an ambulance parked at pit road and almost caused a couple of the big drivers to crash and could have knocked them out of the chance to get to the chase, namely Matt Kenseth. So we're going to talk about that and everything else, getting ready. The Xfinity Series racing this weekend. The trucks are racing, so it's going to be a busy week coming up. And so Mike will join us coming up at the top of the hour by phone from Northern Virginia. So how do we get involved here in Northeast Tennessee? Is there an FCA Outdoors chapter here? Is there a website we can go to find out more about it? Tell me how we can get more information.
Okay, you can go to FCA Outdoors. There's a gentleman that's doing almost pretty much the exact same thing that I'm doing in North Georgia. Is kind of where it started, Paul Dennis. And so you can go there and check it out. Just type in FCA Outdoors and look at the different ones. We are still in the process of building ours exactly what we want it to look like in Northern Middle Tennessee Outdoors. But you can check with Steve. Steve can get in contact with me. Feel free to call me, text me, email me, however you want to do it. Feel free to contact me. We're hoping to spread this thing all over Tennessee. Actually, I'm the first actual official FCA Outdoors rep that's beginning in Tennessee. I'm the only guy in the state of Tennessee that's doing this right now. There's really excitement and interest in it. We're in the very beginning stages. I'm kind of the guinea pig on this thing. We're trying to figure out how exactly it's going to look. Not that everybody's will be the same, but we're trying to build a foundation on how everything works as far as fundraising and my direction and how I direct and how we touch schools and how we touch the community. So everything it's a learning trial. And so please pray number one for us that God shows us the doors and opens our eyes to how we're supposed to do this thing. And so with that happens, we're hoping to spread this and raise up other area reps all over the state, just like FCA, the normal FCA has right now. So FCA is really excited about some of the sport-specific areas we have, like outdoors. We not only have outdoors, but we also have a motocross guy that just does FCA motocross. And so there are, within FCA, there's also, sport-specific in football, basketball, and baseball. But the two special ones we have are outdoors and motocross in Tennessee right now. So that's, like I said, talk to Steve, get in contact with me. he can reach me at any way. You can reach me if you need an email. It's mswinehart@fca.org, and just search any FCA outdoors area. There's a couple. There's, like I said, there's one in Georgia. There's South Carolina. But we're the first ones in Tennessee starting this thing up, and like I said, we're in the building process of trying to get everything exactly how we want it before we make a full launch on the whole thing.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Matt Swinehart, so the gospel's being reached with kids that normally don't play the big three. They're outdoors people, both girls and guys and girls. So, again, how he reaches, I mean, he takes anything and everything, reaches the gospel.
That's right.
Even bow and arrow.
That's right. Bow and arrow, archery, fishing, skeet,
awesome.
kayaking, canoeing, anything you can get outdoors. We're going to do hiking. We're going to do, I'm sorry, Tom, I know you may have to run, but one other thing that I'm going to incorporate into mine that the other ones are not doing is the FFA. I'm bringing in FFA people into my FCA Outdoors. I'm including them in everything. I'm going to try to have them have an actual huddle, have them be character coaches, the whole deal like FCA works, because they've never been worked with before for any kind of Christian organization. So I'm reaching out to all FFA sponsors in all the schools and wanting them to be a part of FCA Outdoors.
Awesome. Give me some taters. Great job. Matt Swinehart again with us, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes Outdoors here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. And we will be back in touch. I want to come to a show with the Tennessee high school bass kids, whatever you call it. What's it called?
Okay, it's the Tennessee High School Bass. They call it the Bass Nation, but it's Tennessee High School Bass. It's a website. Just go and check it out, and it's easy to get signed up. Just it's a little bit involved, but you have to have somebody actually has to have a boat. But as long as mom or dad or someone has a boat and will be the captain, you can go and do it.
Got it. Great job, Matt Swinehart. Again, we are live here, as we said, at the Fellowship Christian Athlete Golf Tournament, again at John City Country Club. I'm going to let Matt jump up and jump out. In comes a big guy. We're going to get him in because he stopped by here. He's in the middle of the tournament. Again, this young man is the basketball coach at Happy Valley. He's not very big, so we're going to I got to get Matt. You're not leaving, are you? No, don't go for just a second. I want to get my man in here while I got him. I'm going to take a break, and we'll come back as promised and do a little baseball. Put those cans on, big dog, and here we go. We've had him on earlier in the summer. We had him when we stopped by Chick-fil-A, and there is Chuck Babb, the Happy Valley basketball coach, FCA huddle coach. So a little windy out there, but hey, we're not in Florida.
That's right.
And the rain and all that, so we can persevere. So how's it? Are you at the halfway point? You made the turn?
We've played 5 holes. They're probably glad to get rid of me right now. Although I did just make a birdie putt, so.
It's like, Chuck, can you go do that radio interview, buddy? Can you do that interview with old Tom? And if you don't make it back, that's okay. No, you're having a big time. It's for great cause, and you're the huddle coach at Happy Valley. For folks that are going, what's a huddle coach? What's that mean? So kind of tell us how you're involved with FCA.
Well, we just kind of get things organized and try to find some pretty good trustworthy students that can actually lead, with the Constitution being what it may be. But, we kind of give them some direction. And what I want to do more than anything is get a coaches huddle started that our coaches can come to. And I don't know, there's just something about me and sharing devotions and praying with one another. And that's that to me is a powerful thing, and I know that when we started FCA, well, we didn't start it, but when I started with FCA, we were averaging about 150 kids every time we met, and they kind of changed the schools around as far as the testing and stuff, and we kind of lost that time during school, and then I left and went to a different school, and we really haven't done a whole lot lately, and we've figured out a schedule to where we can get them some club time. And we're excited about it, and I was hoping my partner would be here, Frank Flo, but he's actually going to take over and kind of be the coordinator for our campus. And if you've ever seen the Green Mile, you've seen Frank, voice and all. Great big guy. When he speaks, everybody listens. So he's a good man of God, and he works with the youth over at Sinking Creek and Baptist. So he does a good job, and we're looking forward to some good things this year. We're excited. We got to Steve and him come up, and me and Bernie Young got to take a little time aside and pray together, and it was just awesome. So we're expecting some good things.
Chuck Babb, of course, getting ready to right on the cusp of basketball season cranking up, so he gets a chance to meet with these kids and coach these kids and be a kind of a dad and a psychologist and a counselor and a coach. And being a coach, you wear a lot of different hats, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, these days you got to be a psychologist because, with things being the way they are and kids watching so much athletes on TV. So, you kind of got to know who to stroke a little and who to kick a little and who to clap for, and you almost need a degree for all that. But we're excited about the season. 1 through 5, maybe the best team I've had. We've got 3 pretty good shooters on the edges and a really good point guard returning, and got a 6-7 post in the middle this year. So, right now, what we're really looking for is some depth, some guys to come off the bench and help us. So if we get that, we're going to be pretty good. And of course, we're still a small school competing against a lot bigger schools. I think right now we're the second smallest AA school in the state of Tennessee. So,
really?
And we're playing against some pretty good sized AA schools in our conference. So, we'll see what happens.
Before I let you go, I know they're waiting on you to get back out there and finish because you're in the middle of the tournament. The importance, in your humble opinion, of having FCA in high schools in 2017.
Well, they need to be grounded somewhere.
Amen,
and
brother.
if they're not grounded in Christ, then there's a lot of different ways they can go. And I was just thinking the other day, a couple of different kids. If we were dealing with, if you can see where we're sitting and see the end game. Kids have they can't see past the wall. They can't see past tomorrow or maybe even next year. And when you get our age and you look and you see the end game, and it's heartbreaking. You look in the busted papers and police beats and stuff, and you see kids that you had in class, and you kind of saw them headed down that road, and you try to talk with them, maybe even minister to them, but then you also see kids that it saved their life, and I can think of several that's come through our program that it's literally saved their life, and one in particular, he was on probation, and when he showed up as an 8th grader, and it was a little rocky for a little while, but he's a fine young man now, and sports, and when you incorporate that with the Lord, 2 things. One thing that they really like and they don't want to lose, and then you can use your witness, and influence in the other areas through the Holy Spirit. So it's a good thing, and we need it. Without the Holy Spirit's restraining force in this world, then we would enter into a time period that is not going to be good, and when that finally does happen, we're going to be in the Great Tribulation, and honestly, I don't think we're very far from it right now.
No, I think the signs. Well, somebody asked me over the weekend, so when's the Lord come back? So I don't know. Nobody knows.
I hope tonight.
Every day the sun comes up, it's a day closer. So I know. Yeah. And the $100,000, no, the $10 million question. I say this every show. It's real simple. Folks don't want to hear it, but it's true. What are you going to do with Jesus? You're either going to accept him or reject him. And by making no decision, you've made a decision. So what are you going to do with the Lord? And that's the question we all have to answer. And everybody's like, well, I'll worry about that later. I'm not going to worry about that now, and I don't want to hear about that. Okay. But the question remains, right? What are we going to do with the Lord?
Yeah, well, absolutely. And what is the church doing with the Lord? The church is in bad shape in a lot of ways. Evangelism and outreach and we had on our church sign the other day, visitors welcome but members expected, and so sometimes you gotta shake the tree a little bit, but we've got a lot. Church has become a social club in a lot of ways since the 1960s, and I think I wasn't born in the 60s, but that was the heyday of the church in this area anyway, I think. And it's we've got some awesome things going on in our churches, but we need to have a heart for the lost.
Yep. Of course, he's a pastor, so he can speak from authority what he's talking about. So I'm Going to get you back on again real soon. I know you've already. How did you do in the first 5 holes? Not good.
I think we had 2 birdies.
Yeah, I noticed nobody's coming up and said, "Chuck, come on." So.
Well, we were getting ready to play a par 3, so they probably sit me in at the right time. So
I appreciate you very much.
Hey, have a great day.
Yeah, class act. Love talking to Chuck Babb. He's a jewel, no question. And I appreciate what he's doing with those young people at Happy Valley High School. He's in the gap, making a difference for these kids, and that's the name of the game, no question. Tom Taylor Sports Show. Let's take a look at some baseball. As we promised, we got to talk a little baseball. Then coming up, we got Yvette Brown's going to join us here coming up in a minute or two. But let's put on the glasses and let's roll here. Let's talk about the Washington Nationals becoming the first team in majors to clinch a playoff spot this season, winning the National League East yesterday. Steven Strasburg extended his scoreless streak to a franchise record 34 innings and a 3-2 win over the Philadelphia Phillies. So they've punched their ticket. They're in. We'll run down the standings here in just a second from yesterday and last night. Daniel Norris, young man who struggled this year with some injuries, went down to AAA. He was a starting pitcher for Detroit. That relegated him to the bullpen. He answered the call very well. Former Science Hill star Daniel Norris pitched a perfect game of relief for Detroit and lost against his former team, the Blue Jays. He went into the bullpen and started September. Struggled in his first relief outing last Sunday, but a week later it was 3 up, 3 down to the 8th inning. So good job for Daniel Norris. That will be, I would think, to a certain degree, some job security for Daniel Norris going forward to 2018. Of course, the season's not over yet, of course. Let's run down the scores. Blue Jays beat Detroit 8-2. Reds double up the Mets 10-5. Rays over the Red Sox 4-1 to tighten up that American League East. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Braves in 11 beat the Marlins 10-8. Nationals over the Phillies 3-2. White Sox 8, the Giants 1. Cardinals, keep an eye on St. Louis, they're red hot. They blanked Pittsburgh 7-0. Royals beat the Twins 11-3. Brewers 3, Chicago 1. Cubs struggling a bit. Rangers, Yankees all over the Rangers 16-7. The Judge man, Aaron Judge, puts his name alongside Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, and some of the greats. We'll talk about that in a second. A's beat the Astros 10-2. Arizona 3, the Padres 2. Angels 5, Mariners 3. And it was the Rockies over the Dodgers 8-1. And as we told you from yesterday and last night, it was a big win as they continue to win, their 18th in a row for the Cleveland Indians. They beat the Baltimore Orioles yesterday in Major League Baseball. And so big win for the Orioles, or rather for the Indians, over the last time I was here, they were cleaning the carpet. So, well, at least when I'm here, they do it. So, anyway, the Dodgers dropped their 10th straight. This is their worst streak of losing since 1992. Of course, they had such a big lead, so it's probably not going to make any difference. But they are still in the driver's seat. But again, they are struggling as of late. As we told you, Aaron Judge, his 40th home run of the season, his rookie campaign, puts him in some pretty elite company for the big guy from the New York Yankees, in with a guy by the name of Mantle and Ruth and some of the other big-time, all-time greats in Major League Baseball. So his 40th home run as a rookie for Aaron Judge for the New York Yankees. Let's run down the standings right now. First off, in the American League, Boston with a 3.5 game lead over New York. Yankees have won 2 straight, 7 out of the last 10. Baltimore reeling. They've lost 4 straight and 7 of their last 10, but they're still in the hunt for the wild card spot. American League Central, how about Cleveland? 18 in a row they've won. The Indians on their way to trying to set a franchise record, and so they continue to play very, very good baseball. They've won 18 straight. In the American League West, Houston, they've won they're now 13 games better than the Los Angeles Angels in the American League West. In the National League East, you have Washington with a 19.5 game lead over Miami. They clinched, as we said, NL East. In the Central, Cubs with a 2 game lead now over Milwaukee and the Cardinals. Don't look now, but here they both come. Milwaukee's won 3 straight, 6 of their last 10. In the Cardinal camp, they have won 3 straight. They've won 8 of their last 10, both only 2 games out. They're making a push now to catch the Cubs. In the West, the Dodgers, now their lead down to single digits. They've lost 10 in a row, have the Dodgers, and now the Arizona Diamondbacks, with about 2.5 weeks left in the regular season, the lead down to 9 games now for the Dodgers in the NL West. So they at one point had an 18-19 game lead. Here's the wild cards. In the American League, you have 2, 4, 6, 8 teams in it. The Yankees are front runner right now. Then comes Minnesota. What a team, what a job they've done. Last year they lost 100 games. This year they're 5 over. They're 74-69. And you have the Angels, Baltimore, Kansas City, Texas, Seattle, and Tampa Bay all in the hunt. for the wild card spots in the American League and the National League. Got 4 teams really: Arizona, Colorado, Milwaukee, and the Cardinals in the hunt for the wild card in the National League. Here's your schedule for today. All under the lights in the American League: Baltimore, Toronto, Detroit at Cleveland, the Yankees in Tampa Bay, Seattle at Texas, and the White Sox will be in Kansas City to battle the Royals. In the National League, a light night for the Bigs in the NL: Pirates in Milwaukee, Colorado at Arizona, and the Dodgers at San Francisco. We'll take a quick break. We'll come right back, and she is in the house. She is seated and ready to go. She is... It's photo op time, apparently. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Yvette, Brian, and the kids are here with us from the FCA on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at FCA.org.
It's Chevy Summer Drive to unbelievable savings at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. With a selection of over 600 new Chevys to choose from, don't miss out on the Chevy Summer Drive sale. 17 Silverado Crew Cab 1LT, $11,000 off MSRP. 17 Equinox Traction Traverse, $5,000 off MSRP. 17 Cruisin' Sonic, 25% off MSRP. Shop us online 24/7 and don't forget our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Let's get her on. No, I'm not Yvette. Let's get her where we can see her, and boom, let's hit this, and boom, there she is.
Hi, Tom.
Hello, young lady. How are you?
I am fabulous.
Yes, we're glad you're here, and we're glad we're here. The Fellowship of Christian Athlete Golf Tournament, again, here at the beautiful Johnson City Country Club. Now, on the screen, you're an FCA sponsor with FTB as advisors, so tell us what FTB is all about.
Well, FTB Advisors is the wealth management arm of First Tennessee Bank, and we as a team work together to help those in the community and our clients reach their financial dreams. And that would be saving for college education and having the money there one of these days to send your kids to college. Or most often the biggest thing that clients are saving for is retirement. That day when they get to wake up and they don't have to go to work and it's their choice as to how they spend that day.
Amen.
So it's been a blessing. I've done this for about 24 years now, and this year I've had so many clients reach that wonderful retirement age, and so we've spent so much time saving and saving and saving and managing that money, and it's really cool now to see that now we're in the realm of income. How do they take it out of those investments they've been saving for and take it home as an income now?
So you probably deal with, obviously, divorced folks, widows, widowers, younger people, baby boomers. You probably run the gamut.
The gamut, absolutely. We've got a team that's capable of helping all of those. And, it's interesting that you mention all that big range of people, because one thing I tell my team and I tell my clients is the only thing that we can count on in life is change, and, of course, the Lord, but change. And with change, we are here to help our clients from every phase of the change that they may experience in life.
Well put. And it's always changing. My dad used to say the only thing that's consistent is the fact that life's inconsistent. Because it changes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think everything's rolling down the highway good, then all of a sudden there's a bump in the road. You've got to be prepared for it. So
that's right.
That's where she steps up and helps out. So you do have a team?
I do. We have a team there at First Tennessee, FTB Advisors. And on that team, I've got another financial advisor that works closely with me with my clients. And then we have 2 support people within our office who are taking care of everything else for our team.
Wow. So it is a team concept when you talk to this young lady at FTB Advisors you see on the screen. Of course, she's here too today. Obviously a big supporter of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Tell me how you're involved.
Well, I've been involved with FCA for many years, more years than I want to say on the air, because it dates back to when I was in school myself, but most recently over the last 15 years, because I have sons. I have 3 sons, and they are athletes in the school system. They are in Washington County, of which 2 of those boys have now graduated and are at ETSU. However, we were very blessed to be a part of FCA in Washington County, and so very thankful that Steve and Wendy and all that they did over the years for the students in Washington County, and the wonderful events and the way they were there to reach out to those children.
So as a mama, let's forget the professional, but as a mama, how important is it to make sure your sons were grounded and got exposed to the Word in a public school setting through Fellowship of Christian Athletes?
That's one of the most important things to me. I mean, it's part of my daily prayer. My children and their future, them being grounded, their well-being. As a mother, that's my number one prayer. I want them to grow into being successful, sound, wise Christian men. And in order for that to happen, they have to be Christian boys first. And it's so important, everything that we as a community are doing from that standpoint to make that happen for our children.
And Steve McCauley and Wendy are making it happen.
Oh my gosh, they're incredible. I can't imagine our community without Steve and Wendy and FCA.
Yep, I agree with you. So, no question, they do a phenomenal job. He didn't want to take any credit for it, but that's okay. I'm bigger than he is, and you can smack him around too.
That's exactly right, especially how small he's getting.
That's it. He's getting puny, so we can knock him around a little bit. Now, you have blankets here. You're telling me here at the tournament how these guys have stepped up, and ladies today, and helped out with these blankets for Bibles. Tell me about it.
Oh my goodness, we've got these beautiful like sweatshirt type blankets that have been made, and on it's got the wonderful logo FCA, Fellowship for Christian Athletes, and they're the perfect material, and they roll up so nicely, and they fit in the trunk or the car or whatever. And all of us are so often at ball games and stadiums, and we need to grab a blanket. So anyway, after these golfers have already played to be a part of this wonderful fundraiser, we've asked them, hey, could you step it up just a little bit more and purchase 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of these blankets? And so one blanket is being sold for $30, 2 for $50, and so forth. But anyway, every blanket that is sold here, that is a Bible that is put in the hand of a student or a coach. And it is amazing to me, these golfers, how excited they have been and willing to pull that wallet out and say, yes, I'll buy 1 or 2 of those. It's a great cause. So we, in addition to all the hard work and the money raised from,
up there and tell them.
In addition to all the hard work and the money raised from the golf tournament, I mean, right here in just a matter of an hour, we raised another $600 just from golfers being generous and buying these blankets.
So for a young person's eternity may be decided because somebody bought a Bible day, bought a blanket to put a Bible in a kid's hand and make a decision for eternity.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. I want you to read this here in just a second, too. Alexis, would you reach one of that blanket that's open over there? And I'm going to do a little show and tell, because that way Yvette doesn't have to uncurl this one. But this is best I can do it here, and I'm not exactly Vanna White, so don't pretend to be. But this is... did I even do it right? Can you see it?
Oh, look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, a fleece blanket, and so that's what they're selling for the right cause, obviously, to put Bibles in kids' hands. So, as I said earlier, somebody asked me with all these disasters we're dealing with. Of course, the Bible says in the last days it's going to happen. There's going to be calamities, and so we've got 2 fires burning out of control, one around L.A. and one in Montana. We've had a over 8-point on the Richter scale earthquake this weekend in Mexico. We've had Irma and Harvey that are going on, of course, hurricanes. So folks say, when's the Lord come back? I don't know. But all I can tell you is there's an increase of these calamities. It's going to increase even more. And all I know is that, as I said earlier in the show, every day the sun comes up, we're a day closer. So the decision we have to make, and I dedicate this show to the Lord every day, and that's why, it's kind of like Phil Robertson said, Duck Dynasty. Duck Dynasty will go as far as the Lord wants it to go, and same with this show. We're up to, what did I say, today's my 590th show, but what I continue to say is, she's going to read the verse of the day here in a second, but we have one choice to make, all of us do, and that is what you're going to do with the Lord. You're going to accept Him, you're going to reject Him, and you may not want to hear that, but that's the way it is, and by making no decision, you are making a decision. So these Bibles were getting placed in these kids' hands. The pressures that these kids go through in high school and middle school and even down to elementary school. Some of the things my little people bring home and ask me questions about, curl your hair, because I'm thinking, really? You're having to deal with this stuff in 3rd and 4th grade? But so we got to get the word in front of these kids in schools, and the great way to do it through athletics is the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, because not every organization the schools let in. The FCA, and they let them in and welcome them in. So I'm done preaching, but again, you got to make a choice and you got to make a decision, and that's the one we're all going to be asked of. What are you going to do with the Lord? So there you go. And so with that, we always dedicate the show to the verse of the day. This is the 3rd time it's been read today. That's good. So now, Miss Yvette Bryan, boom, with the verse of the day.
I am your hiding place. I will protect you from trouble and surround you with songs of deliverance. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you and watch over you. Rejoice in me. Psalm 32, 7 through 11.
There you go.
I love it.
So you come in as a mama. You come in as an FCA sponsor. You come in as a professional with FTB advisors. So you're wearing 3 different hats. And you believe in the cause.
Absolutely.
There you go. Would you hit the bell, please? There you go. Great job. Anything you want to leave us with?
Have a blessed day, everybody.
There you go. Quick break. We'll be right back. We're going to talk a little NFL and see what's going on with Jason Witten. Continues to punch his ticket to the Football Hall of Fame. He broke some more records of the Cowboys last night. We'll take a look at all the NFL games, 2 tonight. We'll tell you all about that next here from the FCA tournament at the Johnson City Country Club on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the parts. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447. If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
I'm Tom Taylor, and you are
Dave Angie.
And we got coming up, it's a really cool, every Thursday, it's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. Get you ready for high school and college football every week. Every Thursday, you're going to be covering what for us?
Be looking at the Big East Conference.
Ooh, that would be Dobbinsville, Sciencefield, and all those great football teams in that conference. Doug Fritz will be giving you the rest of the high school football picture every week. Then we got colleges covered. Who are we going to be covering?
We got ETSU. We have Tennessee. We have Virginia Tech.
All those. Carmichael's will be along to give us the big 5 games every week because it is a 5-star football preview show. So hope you'll join us every Thursday right here in the showroom of Champion Chevrolet. Dave and I will be co-hosting the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star football preview. And then on top of all that, we're going to have a picking panel where you're going to match us against you and you against us, and I can't wait because they don't have a chance. You're going to go up against us. We're going to pick against you for some really cool prizes, and they don't have a chance, do they?
No chance at all. It's going to be fun times.
Oh, yeah. Putting toe to what?
Toe to the leather, man.
Toe to the leather,
Ready
man.
to go.
Ready to go. Can't wait. Again, join us every Thursday right here. It's a Maiden Voyage Cool Show, co-hosted by Dave Angie and myself. It's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview coming up every Thursday right here from Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile in Johnson City. Can't wait to see you on the show. Coming up this Thursday night, having a big time. There's Alexis Klein. We're going to get her on here in just a second. We've got some NFL. Well, let's just go ahead and get her on right now while she's here, because that way then we'll get into some NFL and we'll be ready to roll. So let's go down here and bring up, boom, there she is, Alexis Klein, FCA volunteer.
Hello.
And actually, we're still in the morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Good. You played ball where?
I played at Happy Valley for 13 years, and then I did softball in the summertime, and I did track and field at Science Hill and at Gulf Breeze High in Florida.
In Florida. So, if you checked on some of your friends down in Gulf Breeze High, is everything okay down in Gulf Breeze?
I have called some people, but they've said that it's not as bad as every other place, but then there's some in Orlando that are going to evacuate.
Geographically, where is Gulf Breeze?
It is in the far panhandle. It's like the bottom of Florida. It's like around the Destin area. So
they've had some trouble, not as bad as it could be, right?
Yes, I've been praying, so.
Yes, that's the best thing to do is pray for them. How'd you get involved in FCA?
I actually am friends with Wendy and Steve McCauley. I've known them for several years, and I have a passion for kids as well and for God, so it's been an interesting journey.
Yeah. So were you involved in FCA in high school?
I actually wasn't.
Really?
I had not heard about it until about 3 years ago.
Cool. So because of Steve and Wendy, you got plugged into FCA and
I did.
as a volunteer. So how do you volunteer now for FCA?
I'm going to just come to events, help them put things together, whatever they need for me to do.
You have a dream. We all have dreams. You have a dream about a nonprofit. Tell me about that.
I do. Ever since the age of 10, I've had a dream to do a nonprofit organization for kids 6 to 18 years of age. Instead of running to the streets, they can actually come and run towards their dreams and have God be the center of those dreams. There would be anywhere from sports to music to art, and there would be a 40-bed facility, and it would be basically open for all of them that could come and just really just to worship and just to really put God in the middle, because we cannot do it without Him.
Absolutely.
So.
Go ahead and hit that bell. There you go. Can't do it without it. We can try it. I did it for many years, but you really can't. So it's good stuff. So you're at FCA Volunteer.
Yes,
and
sir.
you go to all the different events. Of course, this is one of the biggies,
Mm-hmm.
the golf tournament with 20, I think it's at 23 and a half teams out here today, which is awesome. So you're just jumping on the golf cart, buzzing around, doing whatever is needed, right?
Yep.
You like being in here because it's not as windy, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we are in the wind advisory starting now until about 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I'm not going to complain, given the fact that Florida got hit with, 150, 160 mile an hour winds in some locations, even bigger. And I saw the video this morning where in the high rises in Miami, where the glass was getting blown out of 85 stories, high glass coming down, raining down on the street. So a little wind here in the Tri-Cities. I'm not going to complain about that compared to what it could be. So Alexis Klein, well, good luck to you in your endeavors. What do you want to leave us with this morning?
Thank you. Well, I want to leave you with seek first the kingdom of God and all else will follow, because if you trust in the Lord, He will get you where you need to go and He will bring you towards your dreams.
You got it. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Alexis Klein with us again. Let me go ahead and flip back over to this camera and let's jump into the National Football League, and here we go. We got some NFL news to take a look at here on the Tom Lee Sports Show. Tomorrow we're going to be at Phil's Dream Pit on the Eastern Star exit of Interstate 26. Wednesday we'll be at Chick-fil-A. Thursday at Champion Chevrolet. And Friday, Food City Friday, we'll be at Food City in Gray coming up on this Friday morning. Coming up later on this week. Jason Witten scored the only touchdown while breaking the franchise record for yards receiving, and the Dallas defense shackled the Giants offense as they went 19-3 last night on the opening victory for the Cowboys in Texas. Ezekiel Elliott, 104 yards rushing and another 36 receiving. Dak Prescott turnover free while throwing for 268 yards as the Cowboys dominated their NFC East rival that swept them during a 13-3 season last year. Jason Witten scored the Cowboys' first touchdown on a 12-yard catch, finished with 7 catches for 59 yards, breaking Hall of Fame receiver Michael Irvin's club record of 11,904 yards. Witten, already the franchise leader in catches, now has 1,096 receptions for 11,947 yards. 35-year-old in his 15th season, Witten is the only tight end other than Tony Gonzalez with at least 1,000 catches and 10,000 yards. Guaranteed he will be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame from Elizabethton, Tennessee, and well-deserved that he should be. Pretty awesome stuff. What else happening from yesterday in the National Football League? Tyrod Taylor threw 2 touchdown passes. The new-look Bills won in Sean McDermott's debut as Buffalo's coach, beating the Jets 21-12. Baltimore's rebuilt defense picked off Andy Dalton 4 times, forced him to fumble. The Bengals were shut out in a season opener for the first time since 1979. Ravens got them in Cincinnati 20-0. Other games, Matthew Stafford threw 2 of his 4 touchdown passes to rookie Kenny Golladay. In the fourth quarter, Lions win over Arizona 35-23 in Detroit. Cardinals scored the first 10 points of the game, led 17-9 late in the third quarter before giving up 26 straight points. Again, it was a win for the Lions in Detroit. 35-23. Leonard Fournette ran for 100 yards and a touchdown. His NFL debut. Jacksonville had 10 sacks, 4 turnovers as they beat the Texans in Houston 29-7, the final there. Other NFL games, Jared Goff passed for a career-high 306 yards and a touchdown in his first victory as an NFL starter. Rams rolled in Sean McVay's debut as the youngest head football coach in modern league history. Rams all over the Colts 46-9 in Los Angeles. Green Bay's defensive lineman Mike Daniels strip sack of Russell Wilson deep in Seattle territory in the third quarter set up Ty Montgomery's 6-yard touchdown run on the next play. Packers win at Lambeau 17-9 over the Seahawks. Seattle managed just three field goals. Wilson 14 out of 27 passing for 158 yards, again for the Packers, and in this case for Seattle at Lambeau Field. Pittsburgh's Ben Roethlisberger threw 2 touchdown passes to tight end Jesse James and improved to 21-2 lifetime against the Browns in his career. Antonio Brown, 11 catches, 182 yards for the Steelers, winning in Cleveland 21-18. In Chicago, Matt Ryan threw an 88-yard touchdown pass to Austin Hooper and led 2 fourth-quarter scoring drives for the defending NFC champs. They went over the Bears 23-17. Second-year quarterback Carson Wentz threw for 307 yards and 2 touchdowns for Philadelphia as they win over the Redskins 30-17. Washington's Kirk Cousins picked off the goal line and then fumbled twice, threw for 240 yards and a touchdown. He was sacked 4 times. Not a good day for the Redskins. Eagles got him 30-17. And then Cam Newton threw a pair of touchdown passes following San Francisco turnovers, and the Panthers win in San Francisco 23-3 in the NFL. And then also you have games coming up tonight in the National Football League. Let's see who's coming up on the NFL for Monday. The Saints will be in Minnesota in Game 1. Game 2, the Chargers at Denver. And, of course, the game we were concerned about, and very pleased to tell you, the Raiders. My boys come into Nashville and whip up on the Titans 26-16. Oakland moves to 1-0, and, of course, the Titans at 0-1, and the Raiders back home to open up the Jets and battle the Jets in their home opener coming up again on Sunday. And that's a look at the National Football League. So again tonight you got 2 games. You got the Saints in Minnesota against the Vikings, and the Chargers in Denver will square off in the AFC West. That'll be coming up again a little bit later on tonight for Monday Night Football. College football, a couple of teams still can't get back home. It's kind of a sad story. Florida International and Florida Atlantic remain displaced. Again, the Florida International team has been in Birmingham since Thursday. They played what was to be their home opener there against Alcorn State. They're still there. Florida Atlantic stays in Madison, Wisconsin, where they played Wisconsin on Saturday. And so they can't get back into Florida yet. So those 2 teams still out on the road away from home. And so the problems continue, obviously, and will for weeks to come. Governor Rick Scott has said that there may not be electricity now for weeks in Florida. Again, having lived through Hurricane Hugo myself back in 1990, we went 4 weeks without any electricity and hot water. So I know from whence I speak that it's going to be, unfortunately, it's going to be a long turnaround time for Florida. We're a pretty resilient nation, and we'll bounce back very, very quickly. I know a lot of folks coming in from all over the country to help out with these folks. And so, again, it's we'll get things turned around pretty quick because we're, again, a resilient, roll up our sleeves and help each other kind of nation. Quick break. We'll go to Northern Virginia talking NASCAR coming up next. We're live at the Johnson City Country Club at the Fellowship of Christian Athletes Golf Tournament right here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447. If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
That Jones boy.
Oh, really?
No, I'm just making that up. I'm just making that up. Like I do with most of my show, Tom. I'm just making it up over here.
There you go. Let's go live. He is here. We're with him, and he's with us. We're live again on the phone. Mike Hedrick, the NASCAR fan reporter, again in Northern Virginia. Good afternoon, sir. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good over here. I'm just feeling a little left out because, I try to do my show good, and, often I get the bell. I get the bell sometimes, but I miss out on getting taters. All the good guests you do, they get taters. So maybe at the end of this thing, if I do good, do like a little fist punch toward the camera, and I'll hit my little iPad screen, and we'll do screen taters.
There we go. We'll do screen taters. There you go. Because we got to give a man taters. He does a phenomenal job. We're talking to Mike Hedrick. NASCAR, the regular season finished, and Richmond's behind us. We head off to Chicagoland. So give us a recap of Richmond Raceway and all the racing there this weekend.
Hey, it was great out there at Richmond. We're just down the street from me here. We'll start off with the Xfinity. That was the Virginia 529 College Savings 250. Always try to get that sponsor in there. They pay a lot for that. It was kind of an uneventful race. They only had 3 cautions, but it was a good race. Kyle Busch and then number 18, Joe Gibbs Racing Car, led 182 laps. But he lost the lead to Brad Keselowski with just 16 to go. Hey, Brad really pulled away with 3 seconds by the time he got to the end. He gets the win, followed by Kyle, followed in second place right there. But really the big race was the Cup race because that came down to the playoffs, the last race before the playoffs. We all knew that it was going to be exciting. Drivers outside of the cut line were driving the wheels off their cars. Guys inside, they wanted to have a solid race and finish well. There were 7 cautions. Kyle Busch won stage 1. Martin Truex, the stage king, won stage 2. There was a 5th caution, and for some reason, an ambulance mistakenly came out onto the track and stopped and parked right there in that pit road. Now that caused Clint Boyer to check up real hard and sending Matt Kenseth to hit him, rear-ending him, and that ended the night for the 20th car. That's a big story in NASCAR right now. It went on to overtime. Restart. Hamlin got into the back of Truex. Opened it up for Kyle Larson to get the win there. That's his 4th for the season, number 1 at Richmond, and 5th for his career. But I think the big story was what in the world was that ambulance doing out there on pit road? How and why did it mistakenly come out there?
And do we have an answer for that? Because that's a major mistake by NASCAR to let that happen.
Well, NASCAR's looking into it, whether it was somebody regional or whether it was part of their the touring guys that go around or whatever. I'm having my speculations that the driver of the ambulance might have been a fan of that Jones boy who finished just out of the playoffs, and maybe taking Matt Kenseth and Boyer and a couple of those guys out of the race. But that's just speculation on my part, and that's an unofficial answer there, Tom.
Talking to Mike Hedrick on the phone with the NASCAR Fans Report in Northern Virginia. We're live here at the Johnson City Country Club of the Fellowship of Christian Athlete Golf Tournament. So Truex had a comfortable lead over Larson when Derek Cope brushed the outside wall with 3 laps left in regulation. Larson winning the race off pit road, and then 1 lap later, contact between Truex and Denny Hamlin sent Truex into the wall in turn 1. That gave a chance, slim that it was, for Joey Logano, who needed a win to qualify for the postseason to win it, but he could not as Larson held him off. So Joey finishes second. Logano's out of the playoffs, and I'm sure there's some tension this morning in that particular camp because he had that race earlier in the year in Richmond encumbered because of some penalties in the pits. So I would think that's probably a stressful situation for Joey Logano and the folks at Team Penske.
Yeah, I would think so too. I mean, because like you said, they had it in the bag before, so they only have themselves to kick. When you get penalties, you bring those on yourself. So they only have themselves to kick. But hey, I've kicked myself and still felt bad about it or whatever. Yeah, they've got to be upset. They've got Brad Keselowski. He's going to be in the playoffs for sure. But that 2-car team. Well, and actually they with Ryan Blaney, he's going to be Penske next year, so that would have been strong for those Fords to come in there from that direction. But hey, that's what those newly encumbered wins do to you. They get you jacked out of the playoffs if you don't have enough wins.
Junior qualified 21st, disappointing finish. He finished 13th out of the playoffs in his final season in NASCAR, so probably not what he wanted. Of course, he's going to head off to Chicagoland, and of course, for folks who don't know, the top 16 racing, but everybody else races too. So everybody keeps an eye on those top 16 drivers, but Junior can still, and anybody can still get some wins heading down the stretch here. They'll start this weekend in Chicagoland. We'll talk about that in a moment. Danica qualified 19th and finished 23rd. Another disappointing day for her, for Rick Hendricks. So we'll see where she goes in the moving ahead to 2018, whether she can continue to have a ride with Stewart Haas Racing. I think it all comes down in large part to sponsorship. I know, the Nature's Bakery thing blew up. She still got Aspen Dental on her car, and I think it's going to come down to dollars probably as much as anything for Danica Patrick in 2018. What do you think?
Well, I agree, and actually even this week here alone, she had to put her own money.
Yep.
She had her little Warrior clothing line as a sponsor for her own car, so she put her own money up there to keep that car going this season here. So, yeah, that's always going to be a big thing for teams. Make sure you have sponsorship. That's going to be a big problem for her. Junior would not having a win just yet that season. He might get one this season, and he really hasn't had the speed. He might be thinking about this off season already. Like I said, I got him. We know he's going to be working with NBC Sports, but maybe he's thinking about the Olympics and hitting the toboggan or something like that already.
I guess so. That's a good point. We're talking to Mike Hedrick, our NASCAR fans reporter. Here are the tracks they'll be going to in the races: Chicagoland, New Hampshire, Dover, Charlotte, Talladega, Kansas, Martinsville, Texas, Phoenix, and wrap things up in Homestead. I still say, of course I don't have any say-so, but I still say they're missing the boat, but somehow not incorporating. I don't know how you do it unless you put the race later in the year, but to come up to Bristol on a Saturday night in October, and the leaves are turned all around the track, and to put them into the best short track in NASCAR, and in my humble opinion, the best track in NASCAR, period. Why they don't incorporate, you saw the response the fans did a couple of weeks back when they had a really big house, the biggest crowd yet in the NASCAR season. Why they don't have Bristol in part of the chase, I don't know, because that would be a great selling point, but they don't. And so these tracks are in, and so we get ready to start racing this weekend in Chicagoland. Here are the 16, Martin Truex Jr., in order: Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Jimmy Johnson, Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch, Casey Kane, Austin Dillon, Matt Kenseth, and Jamie McMurray. So tell us, all these guys have got points beside their names that they've accrued during the season. So now what happens? We wipe the slate clean, and how's it all start over now beginning this week?
Well, it starts over because we head over to Chicagoland Speedway. That's at Joliet, Illinois. They're heading over there, a big Nickelodeon push. We're doing the Tales of the Turtle 400, named after the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Hey, we're trying to get kids interested. And what better way than to get their dads to have the kids interested in coming to the track. Chicagoland is a great track. It's only been there since 2001. Only 16 races there so far. It's a 1.5-mile tri-oval. It's got 18-degree turns. The front stretch is 12. Flattens out a little bit on the back with 5-degree in the back. Last year, we didn't have a pole winner because it got rained out, but Martin Truex Jr. won from the 6th spot right there. Of the current drivers at Chicagoland, the best right now are Kevin Harvick and Brad Keselowski. They both got 2 wins there. It doesn't seem like the pole is all that important because only 6 of the 16 races were won in the top 10 spots. So looks like you can win from just about all the different spots. Manufacturer wins. Chevy is really strong there with half of the wins. They've got 8, Toyota with 5, Dodge with 2, and Ford's with 1. Again, like I said, it's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So look for a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle characters on a lot of the cars, including Matt DiBenedetto and Jeffrey Earnhardt Jr. on the Cup side, Matt Teff and Bubba Wallace on the Xfinity race, and then look for John Hunter Nemechek and Jennifer Jo Cobb in the Truck Series to have those turtles on there for your kids. But, hey, really what I'm going to look for at Chicagoland is guys that are in the chase. The strong teams are going to be strong, and they're going to eat the weak. I mean, they're going to if you don't have a win, or if you don't have, or you only have one win, and you're not from that strong of a team, I think you're going to get weeded out in these playoffs really quick. So look again. Right now, we've seen them Toyotas are coming on strong, so look for your Truexes and your Kyle Bushes and all your Toyotas to be real strong. But as we know, Chevy's won half of them, so this may be when we see Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus. What they always do, they wake up. We wake up the sleeping giant in the playoffs, and so maybe they're going to be strong there as well. So I'm looking for another great NASCAR race this season.
We're on the phone talking to Mike Hedrick live in Northern Virginia. So the stage racing, now we've seen the regular season come to an end. Now you can look back. The stage racing, is that something, is it proved to be good or not good to this point for the NASCAR racing season? What do you think?
I think, NASCAR winds up, the fans always criticize them because every time you turn around, they knee-jerk rule changes. They knee-jerk rule changes all the time. But I'll tell you what, this stage racing, to me, has been the best thing that NASCAR has done in a long time for the sport and for racing since they took a little bit more of that downforce off the cars and made them squiggly. I mean, the stage racing has led to, everybody having to go after it all race and every race long. It wasn't like last year and the last years before. Had you got a win, maybe you took some time and worked on your car and you did different things and a win wasn't important, or the stages. But now you're seeing that really come to the advantage of a guy like Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Larson, who've got a lot of those stage points, and to the disadvantage of like our Jimmy Johnson. He's in because he's got 3 wins, but it doesn't have a lot of the stage points. It's not something that they had always done in the past. But it's changed racing for the better. I like it.
We're talking to Mike Hedrick on the phone again live in Northern Virginia. So out of fairness, the Cups crank up, but so do the Xfinity Series. They're getting ready to get into their chase, as are the trucks. So give us the very latest in those 2 series, would you please?
Well, the Truck Series is always great. They didn't actually, the trucks and the Xfinity didn't finish up their regular season at Richmond. This coming up week here at Chicagoland, both of those are actually going to finish up their final. So all these teams are really racing hard to get into there. On the Cup side, you've got your Christopher Bell leading. These guys have clinched into what they call the round of 8. That's your Christopher Bell, your John Hunter Nemechek, your Johnny Sauter, Matt Crafton, Kraz Gala, and then also Austin Cindric. He made it in because, we know that he dumped Kraz Gala in the last race up there in Canada. Right now, also currently in on points is going to be your Chase Briscoe and Ben Rhodes. On the outside, we still want to mention these guys because they work hard and they've really got a good chances. Your Ryan Truex, also your Grant Enfinger, and Joe Gregson, who that because he probably spoiled my chance to do any, a game and now or track announcing there by his fine job he did with you there at Bristol.
He was incredible. The kid sit down, he's 17, 18 years old and never been in behind a microphone ever. And the guys I thought he knocked it out of the park. We're talking about Noah Gragson, who drives for Kyle Busch in the Truck Series, and he definitely has a future post-racing if he wants to, because I thought he was very, very good. But you know what? Mike Hedrick's very, very good, too. You and I was thinking about this driving over this morning. How long have you been helping me out on the show here?
I've been probably about a year and a half now. When we got met through Drew Bedard, and Drew basically sent an email to both of us, and he said, Mike, this is Tom, who I've been telling you has got the great show. And he said, Tom, Mike's a talker. And the next thing is, so I've enjoyed being on the show. I started off a little crazy when I first got going, but I've kind of honed it down, and I really do enjoy it. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, I couldn't do the show without you. I mean, you are my NASCAR connection. So we have Pat Patterson of PRN on Fridays, but the reviews on Monday, this guy is spot on. So having said that, yes, and I'm a big fan of Mike Hedrick, and even as big a fan of Drew Bedard. Love both these guys very much, and they're both Christian men, and I appreciate that. So before I let you go, Chicago, who typically runs good? It's not, as you said, not a very old track. So who typically runs well in Chicagoland as we get ready to start the chase?
Well, you're Kevin Harvick and Brad Keselowski right now. They've got 2 wins each right there, so we look for them to be strong. Hey, before we go, NASCAR made a couple of changes this last weekend here. Because of those encumbered finishes with the rear ends moving around, NASCAR is now going to penalize teams more for the violations in that rear suspension rules. They moved it up to the high end of the L1 penalty scale, so now it's going to be a 40-point penalty and suspension of both your crew chief and your car chief for 3 weeks and a $75,000 fine. Now, that goes up from 25 points in 2 weeks for just your crew chief and the $50,000 that Logano and Denny Hamlin got for their encumbered. Now, on TV, the NBC guys and Kyle Petty, they were talking crazy talk about taking wins away and different things like that, or waiting until after all the inspections were announced to who was the NASCAR race winner for that week. But it looks like that NASCAR came in, like we talked before, if when my daddy, if he punished me and took away my toy, if that didn't get my attention, he restricted me. If that didn't get my attention, my daddy took me out to the woodshed. And I think NASCAR is going to have that police itself and do that. Another thing that NASCAR did is in teams next year here, you're going to have to use an engine for 2 whole races. You're only going to get 13 short blocks. And also that if you blow a motor, whether it's in practices or any time during the race weekend, you're going to go to the back of the field. And last but not least, hats off to Bristol Motor Speedway, Charlotte Motor Speedway, Atlanta Motor Speedway, and Talladega. They've opened up their campgrounds to the hurricane relief from Irma and Harvey down there for victims and campers. So if you're listening to the show and you're still traveling like my in-laws were, they came up from St. Augustine the other day, and they really looked like that they were in shell shock. There's warm, friendly faces and place to camp right there at Bristol Motor Speedway and Charlotte and all that.
You got it. Well put, my friend. Great job. Again, hunker down. Are you guys supposed to get any remnants of Irma there in Northern Virginia? Any forecasts?
I think we're just supposed to get a little bit of rain and all that, but we should be pretty fine.
You got it. Hey, great job, my friend. Talk to you next Monday, and have a great week. You deserve it.
All right. God bless everybody real good. Hey, Tom, screen taters,
oh,
screen
yeah,
taters.
Screen tater. There you go.
Woo!
Woo! Take care, man.
All right.
Great job. Again, Mike Hedrick with us again live from Northern Virginia talking NASCAR here in the Tom Taylor Sports Show. So, again, they all head off, as we said, making them roll into, as we said, Chicagoland this weekend for the start of the chase for the championship. And again, as he said, big kudos to Bristol Motor Speedway and Charlotte and Atlanta. They've opened up the campgrounds for free to bring folks who've been displaced by either Harvey or Irma to bring their campers and camp for free at Bristol Motor Speedway, which is a very, very nice touch, obviously. And we salute, of course, Jerry and all the folks at Bristol Motor Speedway, as always. They just go above and beyond the call of duty, and they've, as we say, they've done it again. Quick break. We'll be right back. We are live here at the Johnson City Country Club. Getting some folks on from the JCCC and also Wendy Royston from the FCA Flames. These folks due to come in and join us next. Also, we're going to take a look at some high school football for this week and also college football. The polls are out. Some changes. Obviously, Baker Mayfield made a statement taking that Oklahoma flag and stabbing it right down the middle of the center of the field at the shoe in Columbus, Ohio, when Oklahoma put a whooping on the Buckeyes. So we'll talk about that and also the college football polls. And I'll take a look at the SEC, how to go last week, and who plays this week where. We'll tell you all about that next year live at the Johnson City Country Club on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at FCA.org.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do you do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here at the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400. Your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
Back on the I'm not him. Back on the Tom Dover Sports Show. Let's get Greg on here again, the general manager again of the Johnson City Country Club, and boom, there he is. We appreciate him being with us. Show number 590. We're here on behalf of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. We were here a year ago, and we were in the was it Club 1913 where we were?
Club 1913, yes, sir.
We'll talk about that in a moment. But here, right in the foyer of the Johnson City Country Club, love this facility. So for folks who've never been here or don't know the storied history, kind of give us a background a little bit of this great country club.
Well, we've been around since 1913. 18-hole golf course, tennis, pool, just a tremendous history. It's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Tell them about the golf course, because again, it's windy out here today, and we understand that with Irma, but it'll be gone tomorrow, and the rain will be out of here, so the leaves are starting to turn, and going forward, it's going to be a great time to come play golf here in the fall with the landscape and the topography. So kind of tell us about the golf course.
It's a great course, and one of the neat things, it's a Tillinghast design. What's great about it is it was designed before golf carts, so it's a great course to walk. It's challenging, and you mentioned topography. It's a tougher course because they had to make them tougher. They didn't have the technology to mow down the greens and do things like they do now. So you have that natural topography that's really makes it a tough course anyway, coupled with the modern technology. It's a good, challenging course.
Yeah, of course, just where I'm sitting here in the foyer of the country club, you can see all the trees just around just this part where I can see, obviously. But I would think with the leaves turning here in Johnson City a little bit later on in October and the fall foliage, this would be on a nice warm day in the 60s or 70s, come out here in the cool nights and warm days, come out here and play a great round of golf.
And it's absolutely gorgeous. Frustrating to our superintendent keeping all those leaves picked up, but it's a gorgeous setting to play.
Talking to Greg Saunders, you see on the screen the general manager of the Johnson City Country Club. Tomorrow we're going to be at Phil's Dream Pit off of Eastern Star Exit. Again, we'll go there once a month. Wednesday, our weekly visit to Chick-fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. Thursday we'll be at Champion Chevrolet, as we always are, the #1 Chevy dealer in the state. And on Friday we'll be at Food City Friday. We'll be on the road at Food City this week at Food City in Gray. We're talking to Greg Saunders. Club 1913. You're very excited about this. We talked a little bit about it when we were here a year ago. And tell us and give us an update on Club 1913.
Well, it was a new experiment for us, just opening a more casual kind of sports bar feel inside the country club. So we still have our 19th hole. We still have our more formal dining, but this is a great spot with 5 different TVs to watch all the college games. We had a lot of fun this year when ETSU made their run into the tournament. We had some great parties down there, and looking forward to ETSU and UT and all the other games down there.
Yep, Club 1913, and of course, you and I can't believe it, but the countdown's on. 104 days to Christmas, that's all we got. And so folks are planning parties, and to me, I've been out here Christmas time and seeing how you all in years past have decorated this facility. It looks like something out of a Norman Rockwell picture or painting, but 104 days till Christmas, and folks are planning holiday get-togethers already.
And we're already starting to book them. I mean, it's hard to believe, but we've got 3 great rooms that we use for the holidays. Our members really pitch in and come in and help us decorate. And you've got a neat old building like this, and you can really do some neat things. So when you come to do your party, there's not a lot of work on your end other than show up, have a good time, let us do the food, do the bar, do anything else that you need, and go home when it's over.
What size crowd can you accommodate? How small and how large?
We've got rooms that accommodate 10 to 50, and then we've got our ballroom, which will do up to 250.
I've been here too on some of the civic groups come in here and do their weekly meetings or monthly meetings, and the lunch is awesome here as well too. So who's your chef now, right? Country Club.
Well, our chef is, we have a new chef, Caleb, is coming in at the end of the month. Currently I'm kind of filling some of those holes back to my old days of working in the kitchen, and real excited to have Caleb come on and bring a new little twist to what we're doing.
There's a website, of course. How do we get there and what will we find?
It is jccsite.com. Brand new website that we just put up. You're going to see some interactive videos, drone videos, flyovers that show the entire club, give you a calendar of our events coming up, information about membership, just some good things coming up for the fall.
And of course, it's closed now, but one of the coolest places, we've been out here on several occasions for gatherings in the swimming pool. Of course, it's down now for the summer and for the winter, but it's a really cool swimming pool, and that's always been a big draw all summer long for the hot days. So you got that, you got golf, you got tennis. We got everything covered that you offer.
We did. I mean, great tennis programs, two tennis pros, great new assistant golf pro who's a fabulous teacher. Just have a lot of exciting things going on.
104 days to Christmas. It just doesn't stop.
That's way too close.
Greg's looking at me like, stop saying that. But yeah, it's going to be here whether you're ready for it or not. So one more time, the website is?
jccsite.com.
Great job. Give me some taters. Greg Saunders, the general manager of the Johnson City Country Club. Quick break. We'll be right back. We'll talk high school football and college football. Who's playing this week in the SEC and where? Of course, Tennessee, weather permitting, of course, and then get everything put back together enough to have a football game in Gainesville as the Big Orange will head down to Florida to battle the Gators. That is with an asterisk because, again, with all the rain and the wind, there is some questions whether that game can be played, so we'll see. We'll talk about that and everything else in the SEC and a big week of high school football. We'll talk about that next year on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at FCA.org.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do you do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here at the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400. Your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
We're back at the Tom Taylor Sports Show, and we are glad to be here. And boom, that is, let's get her up and rolling because she's there. Although she is on camera. Wendy Royston, the FCA Flames baseball team, and she and hubby, dear friends, Mike and Wendy. How far back did we go? Did we say?
25 years or so.
25 years, and so folks don't know this about her, but I'm going to go ahead and tell folks. She is a phenomenal singer. She is a soloist. Heard her sing in church many times, and you're an accomplished fiddle. Violin.
Let's call it violin.
We used to go to church. I'd see you play that fiddle. She'd say, "It's a violin, Tom." It's a violin. But yes, we go back a long way. A great family, and you and Mike, hubby Mike, decided way back in the day to get a baseball team going under the umbrella of the FCA called the Flames. It's pretty cool.
That's correct. That's right. Yes.
Tell me all about it. How did it get started?
Well, our second child, Cullen, was very much into baseball, and our kids have always been homeschooled, and we were finding that when he was in high school it was hard for him to have ways to play baseball in the spring. Now in the summer there are plenty of travel teams, recreational leagues, things like that, but getting him into a playing situation in the spring was difficult because of the homeschool rules at that time, which were pretty strict. So we thought, why not maybe look into starting our own team, a homeschool team that he could play on. So 6 years ago or so, we had an informational meeting, invited some people, and we were amazed at the number of people that showed up. And so we did form a team. We are beginning our fifth season. 2018 spring will be our fifth season. We are a homeschool baseball team for kids that not only are homeschooled, but also there are some boys that might attend a school such as maybe Tri-Cities Christian or some other Christian schools towards Knoxville that don't have baseball programs. So they're able to play on our team as well. And we started out with just one JV team 5 years ago. Now we have varsity, JV, and middle school teams.
Now, who are the coaches?
Our main coach has been Jake Howell. He graduated from Milligan College. He was a standout pitcher there, one of the best in the nation in the NAIA division, and he has been with us for 4 years. And he is our head coach for everybody. We have several dads that help and fill in as needed when he can't be everywhere at one time.
Neat stuff. You have a varsity, JV, and a freshman team. I mean, a
middle school.
Team. So we got to get Jake Howell. Steve, you got to get him. We get him on the show one day.
He's out on the golf course right now, playing in this tournament. Yes.
Yeah, we got to get him on because this gentleman has obviously rolled up his sleeves and made a commitment to get these kids out on the baseball diamond. Now you got 3 teams and it's growing. So, how important is it from a mama's perspective to have your child involved in FCA?
Well, that's the best part, because not only are we teaching those boys how to be good baseball players, we're teaching them how to be good at life, to build character, to care about others, just to grow up to be strong Christian boys. Every practice that we have, every game that we have a huddle. Some are led by the players, some are led by other Christians from the region that just come in and speak to our boys. FCA makes sure that each of our boys have a Bible, and they also help us with T-shirts, uniforms at times, just different things that we need. So FCA is a big supporter of Flames.
So the teams you guys play, who are some of the other opponents that you guys would play during the course of the season?
Well, we wanted to be regular spring season playing, not summertime. So we want to play the schools around here. So we've played Happy Valley. We've played Cloudland, Hampton, Holston View. We've gone to Knoxville and played one of the big Knoxville. It's left my mind at the moment. Teams down there. We played several of the Christian schools in the Knoxville area: Knoxville Christian, Maryville Christian, Faith Baptist Academy. Traveled to Asheville and played some. We tried to not travel a whole lot, and we don't play on Sundays. Try to have more of a regular season like our players would have if they were in public schools and playing baseball.
Neat stuff. Is there a website you guys have?
We don't have a website. We do have a Facebook page, Flames Baseball. The best way to reach us is probably just to email me, and I can send you information about the team. And then we're in the process right now of having evaluations and getting started for spring 2018 right now.
Flames Baseball. That'd be cool. That's it. Now, where do you play your home games at?
Domtar, Kingsport Parks and Recreation, the Brickyard, those parks have basically been our home field, because we don't have a home field that we own per se. Milligan has let us use their field a few times, so we use some of those facilities and call that home.
Neat stuff. The FCA Flames, again, baseball team under the umbrella of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So Stephen Wendy, they do, of course he doesn't want to, he's walked out now so I can brag on him, but they do a tremendous job.
They sure do.
Yeah.
That's right.
Awesome job. Of course they don't want to, he always wants to downplay it, but that's okay. We can talk about it because he's not here. But Steve McCauley and Wendy McCauley do a phenomenal job getting the gospel out to all these schools. I think he says he's got 40 schools he's involved in, so we certainly appreciate him. And you, how's Mike doing? Mike doing good?
He's doing well.
Is
doing very well. Right he now? Is. Yes, he is.
Now, is he a phenomenal golfer, an okay golfer, not so hot golfer? How would you?
He's a pretty good golfer. Yeah, he is.
That's the right thing to say about her hubby. He's a pretty good golfer. When was the last time you sang somewhere?
Oh, I don't know. I guess it's been a couple of years. Do a lot more playing than singing, these days. But
wow, she needs to be singing. She has a phenomenal voice.
Well, thank you, Tom.
Awesome,
I appreciate it.
So, thank you very much for stopping by. You're doing a great job.
You're welcome.
We'll see if we can promote the Flames a bit more.
All right. That'd be great. All right.
Good stuff. We'll take a quick break. We'll come right back. We'll take a look at college football and high school football as promised. And also, we'll be joined by the newest FCA director here in the region, Kingsport, Sullivan County, Brad Perry, will join us as we'll take a look and start to wind this thing down. High school football and college football coming up next year on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology has just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. Blue Lizard Australian sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here are the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance. We follow the claim through to the end.
We're back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us again on this Monday. It is Patriots Day. Of course, we've not really spoke a whole lot about September the 11th on this day when we, I call them the scumbags. They attacked our country and turned our world upside down here in three different locations, and we're never the same. And so we will never forget the day that they attacked our country. And so it is the 9/11 day. Where were you when the world stopped turning? Is a song that Alan Jackson made famous. So today is we celebrate. I guess it's not a. I don't guess celebrate. You don't celebrate a tragedy. I'm not sure. We remember. I guess 9/11 today, and so we have become a stronger nation, a more vigilant nation, a more resilient nation as a result of that. So it's one of those on our nation's timeline we will never ever forget. And so today is the remembrance of 9/11 on this day back, 2011. 2000
or 2001.
2003? 2001?
One.
Gosh, 2001, 16 years ago. Unbelievable. Yep. Brad Perry's with us. You can see the new FCA Director of Kingsport, Sullivan County. Good afternoon, sir. How you doing?
Good afternoon, sir. It's good to be with you.
Man got a beard. I like it. I like men with beards. It's a good thing. We're far and few between. Not enough of us, but he's here and ready to go and jump on board. And you are the new FCA Director in Kingsport, Sullivan County. Is that correct?
That is correct. Just getting rolling. Trying to meet with the huddle leaders at the schools and trying to raise ministry funds right now.
How many schools are you going to be in charge of?
We'll have 25 schools.
25 schools.
We'll run all of Sullivan County, Kingsport City schools. We'll also take care of Hawkins and Hancock County.
You've been on the job how long?
I will be on the job officially starting in October.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
October 1. So
October 1.
You're just literally on the ground floor getting this thing revved up.
Yes, I've been volunteering with FCA since '98, so just coming on staff now, though. I served as a pastor at a local church, so volunteered when I was in youth ministry with FCA, and really just felt a compelling call to move into that full-time role.
Well, needless to say, our kids in public schools obviously need to have the gospel presented to them, and the FCA is a great avenue to do that through athletics.
Yes, obviously, yeah.
Yeah. So, what are some of the goals, some of the plans you have?
Oh, one of our biggest goals, we want to get an FCA Bible in the hand of every athlete in our area. So that's one of the main things we're looking. We also hope to start some coaches' Bible studies. Billy Graham said a coach can impact more young people in a year than most people will in a lifetime. So if we can impact those who are impacting, then we can make a real difference. So those are two big goals we're looking at.
Yeah, we start in October, so you have all the county schools. We're talking about middle school and high school.
Middle school and high school, yes.
Well, there's a ton of them, too.
Yes, we've already started working our way been to about 8 FCA huddles so far, so we're already starting to work our way in. Got 3 cases of Bibles already given out, so we're making some inroads.
Awesome. So your high schools in the county would be Sullivan Central, Sullivan South, Sullivan North, Sullivan East.
Sullivan East.
Of course, city school would be Dobbins Bennett, obviously. Middle school, Sevier and Robinson. So county middle schools are all over the place. Colonial Heights, Holston. I mean, it runs the gamut.
Bluffville, Bluff City, Mary Hughes, Holston Valley. Then we also have volunteer Cherokee down in Hawkins County, and then Hancock County middle school and high school.
We play each other, by the way. Getting ready to go down the high school football schedule. It's the old bragging rights of Hawkins County Friday night down in Rogersville. It'll be volunteer Cherokee. We'll run down the entire schedule for you in just a minute. So this is an empty slot that you have filled as the FCA director. So there hasn't been someone in this position for a while, so you're dusting off the cobwebs, rolling up your sleeves, getting after it, huh?
Yes, yeah. It's been empty, so they were, we actually, a couple of coaches, I coach wrestling, a couple of coaches and I were looking at volunteering with the FCA Wrestling and starting that statewide. When we made our pitch to the state director and Steve McCauley, the area director here, the state director actually said that we have a position we need to fill, and made his pitch, I guess you might say.
So October 1st, you're in the catbird seat.
We are, yes, and we're excited about it. We love a challenge. We believe God can do some great things through FCA. We've already seen him do a lot of great things, so we're excited about hitting the ground running.
Where have you coached wrestling at?
Sullivan East, mostly. Worked with them off and on for since '92. Either as a volunteer or even on staff for a few years as well.
So what strikes me is, we know this because of the Lord, but he's impacted kids through wrestling with Brad, with Matt Swinehart with bass fishing and skeet shooting, FCA Outdoors, Chuck Babb with basketball at Happy Valley. This is just some of the folks been on the show today. Yvette, who is with FTB Advisors as a mama, and also from professional sponsorship with her company. And then, of course, Wendy, who her and her husband decided to start up a baseball team under the umbrella of FCA. So there's lots of different ways that he uses, talking about the Lord, he uses to get the word out to impact these kids, right?
Yes, absolutely. And FCA is a great avenue for that. I mean, you had Stacy Ivester on earlier, too, as well. He's done a lot with young football players in the area. So God can use a multitude of avenues to make his impacts, and we're just excited to be a part of it.
Is there a website, or how can we find out more about what you're doing in Kingsport and Solomon County?
We are actually on Steve's website with FCA Tri-Cities, but we also have a Facebook page. You can go to Facebook, FCA Kingsport, Sullivan County, and like us there and see what we have going on. Biggest event we have going on right now is October 28th. We have a fishing tournament at South Holston Lake. We're going to be taking off from Observation Knob, $1,000 for the first prize boat, two-man boats that morning. So we're really excited about doing that. It's a little different kind of a fundraiser.
I want to help.
Well, we'd love to have you come out.
That's on Saturday?
Yes, Saturday morning.
Yeah, well, let's get you back on, let you promote that. That way, this is open to anybody and everybody, right?
Yeah, open to anybody and everybody. $60 a boat, which would be $30 a man. $1,000 first place prize, $100 for the big fish. Farm Bureau's sponsoring the event for us, so we're really excited about it.
Awesome. Yeah, we can get the word out about that. That's we got to get you back on. on a fairly regular. Of course, October 28th is a ways off. It really isn't. It'll be here.
I'd be here before you know it.
Yeah, we were talking to Greg Saunders a few minutes ago. Christmas is only 104 days away.
Yeah.
So October 28th is not that far away. Let's do that. So that's a good way to get it rolling, bro.
Yeah, we're excited. Yeah.
Give me some taters.
All right.
Like him. We'll take a quick break. We'll come right back, and we'll, as promised, run down college football and high school football to wrap this thing up. Brad Perry, the new FCA director in Kingsport, Sullivan County, our guest here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. I'm Tom Taylor. You are
Dave Angie.
And we got coming up, it's a really cool, every Thursday, it's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. Get you ready for high school and college football every week. Every Thursday, you're going to be covering what for us?
Be looking at the Big East Conference.
Ooh, that would be Dobbinsville, Science and all those great football teams in that conference. Doug Fritz will be giving you the rest of the high school football picture every week. Then we got colleges covered. Who are we going to be covering?
We got ETSU. We have Tennessee. We have Virginia Tech.
All those. Carmichael's will be along to give us the big 5 games every week because it is a 5-star football preview show. So hope you'll join us every Thursday right here in the showroom of Champion Chevrolet. Dave and I will be co-hosting the Champion Chevrolet 5-star football preview. And then on top of all that, we're going to have a picking panel where you're going to match us against you and you against us, and I can't wait because they don't have a chance. You're going to go up against us. We're going to pick against you for some really cool prizes, and they don't have a chance, do they?
No chance at all. It's going to be fun times.
Oh, yeah. Putting toe to what?
Toe to the leather, man.
Toe to the leather,
Ready
man.
to go.
Ready to go. Can't wait. Again, join us every Thursday right here. It's a Maiden Voyage Cool Show, co-hosted by Dave Angie and myself. It's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview coming up every Thursday right here from Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile in Johnson City. Can't wait to see you on the show.
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the things that owner Tim Smith is most proud of is their hard-earned certifications.
We are an ASE Blue Seal shop, which is important because what it tells the customer is we care enough to get certified, not in one certain area of cars. You have to be certified in 8 different certifications, in 8 different tests you have to take, and you have to be updated on them yearly to make sure that you're up to date. We not only have one of those, we have 3 ASE Master Technicians here with the ratio. It goes into a ratio, and we're a Blue Seal shop, so it tells you that we care about training and we care about knowing about your car. We want to help fix it right.
American Import Auto Repair, West Market Street, Johnson City, home of the free loaner car program. Open 6 days a week. Call today, 913-3111.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitats, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. But I do want to say, she said, I'm not going to really want to come talk, but I want to give her props. You at least sit down here and let them just sit down and wave at him real quick. Look at her, right? This lovely lady. That, look up there, is Tanner Horton, ladies and gentlemen. Where'd you go to school?
I went to school at UH.
Yeah, University High. Yeah.
And then Crockett, my senior year.
You're the office manager.
At the moment.
Yeah, that's what she said. So that's what Greg said. But this young lady, for whatever reason, I tried to get this on. I'm using the Wi-Fi of the country club here for a few more minutes. And she said, let me see if I can do this. And she put her little fingers on there and boom. I don't know what it was. She had the magic fingers, but she's a sweetheart and we appreciate you. I couldn't be on the air. I couldn't have done this without you today. So thank you. Give me some taters. She's a sweetie. I said, you want to talk? She said, no, not really. I said, okay. But I didn't want to give her props because anybody that helps me, the Lord knows I need it. I want to give him a fair shake. So thank you, Tanner Horton.
You're welcome.
Yeah, she's a sweetie. Let's run down college football real quick before we get out of here. And as we promised, let you know how things went and how things are going. Top 25 in college football. Let's run them down for you here again on the show. The polls are out this week. No surprise, Alabama with 58 first-place votes. Then come the Oklahoma Sooners, who moved up after putting a whooping on Ohio State in Columbus. That was a game that Baker Mayfield took the Oklahoma flag at the end of the game and took it out and stabbed it into the ground right in the middle of the Ohio State logo in Columbus, the horseshoe, which I'm sure didn't go well with anybody there that was a Buckeye fan. But he again planted the big flag in the middle of the Ohio State 50-yard line after they went up and beat them 31-16. Mayfield has always played with a monumental chip on his shoulder. He doesn't forget things either, that Oklahoma losing last year to Ohio State 45-24 in Norman. So he said, I want to just let folks know I hadn't forgot. And so he takes the flag and puts it into the ground at the 50-yard line at Ohio State. Clemson up to number 3, Southern Cal number 4, Penn State at number 5 this week, Washington number 6, Michigan at number 7, Ohio State, the Buckeyes, down to number 8, Oklahoma State number 9, and Wisconsin rounds out the top 10. Then comes Florida State, LSU, Georgia, big win at Notre Dame and South Bend. The Bulldogs move up to number 13, Louisville 14th, Auburn 15th, the Hokies of Virginia Tech in number 16 this week with a big win, shutout win over Delaware. Miami of Florida 17th, Kansas State 18th, Stanford 19th, and rounding out the top 20 is TCU. Then you have Washington State, South Florida, Tennessee, the Volunteers up to number 23, Florida at number 24, down to number 24, and UCLA rounds out the top 25 of college football. SEC, who played and how they go over the weekend, you had alphabetically Alabama defeating Fresno State 41-10. Arkansas loses in Fayetteville to TCU 28-7. That is not good for Brett Bielema and the Razorbacks. They have a week off to get ready for Texas A&M. They got to think about it for an extra week with an open date this week. Auburn beats Clemson loses to Clemson 14-6. Florida, Northern Colorado canceled, will not be made up. Georgia, as we said, goes to South Bend and defeats Notre Dame 20-19. Kentucky rallies to beat Eastern Kentucky in Lexington 27-16. LSU 45-10 win over Chattanooga. Also in the Southeastern Conference, Ole Miss with a 45-23 win over UT Martin. Mississippi State defeats Louisiana Tech 57-21. South Carolina in the conference opener defeating Missouri in Columbia, Missouri 31-13 was the final. Also you had, of course, Tennessee all over Indiana State 42-7. Texas A&M bounces back and beats Nichols in College Station 24-14, and Vanderbilt with a 42-0 whitewashing of Alabama A&M in Nashville. Here's the schedule for this week. It'll be Colorado State in Alabama, Auburn hosting Mercer, Florida taking on Tennessee in Gainesville, Georgia home to Samford, Kentucky will be on the road at Columbia to battle South Carolina and the conference opener for the Wildcats. LSU opens up their conference play on the road at Mississippi State. Ole Miss on the road at California and Berkeley. You have Missouri hosting Purdue in Columbia, and also you have Vanderbilt hosting Kansas State in Nashville, and Texas A&M hosting Louisiana Lafayette at College Station. That's the Southeastern Conference schedule for this week. Didn't take long for Missouri to make a firing. DeMonte Cross out as Missouri's defensive coordinator after a year and 2 games in the position. The Missouri Tigers losing 31-13 to South Carolina Saturday night, 1 week after giving up 43 points to Missouri State. So they host Purdue on Saturday with a new defensive coordinator. They fired DeMonte Cross. He's gone as the defensive coordinator for the Missouri Tigers. And that's a look at college football. We have more to show you tomorrow. By the way, congratulations to Tracy Clark on the picking panel. Tracy Clark out of Kingsport got 7 out of 10. And so they're winners. I'm not sure if it's Tracy a guy or Tracy a lady, but they've won. And so congratulations. So you will get a chance to go right back in there in the picking panel and do it again this week. And there it is, TomTaylorSports.com/football. You can win yourself $25. It's just that easy. All you have to do is go there and pick the winning teams. No points, just the teams you think are going to win. And then name, first name, last name, email address, and, of course, the town you're from. So Tracy Clark from Kingsport's a winner this week. This past week, and so there you go, TomTaylorSports.com/football on the Champion Chevrolet page. And so here are the games this week if you're interested to see if you can pick them. It goes as follows. Of course, Tennessee at Florida, Clemson at Louisville, Miami of Florida at Florida State. That's a big one in the Sunshine State. Kentucky at South Carolina, Virginia Tech at East Carolina, and LSU at Mississippi State. Those are the games in college this week. The 4 high school games, kind of slim pickings this week in high school. We try and give you games that are fairly evenly matched. Bearden will be at Science Hill, Morristown East at Tennessee High, Daniel Boone hosting Gate City, and as we said earlier, the bragging rights of Hawkins County Volunteer at Cherokee. Those are the games this week coming up in high school football. And before we get out of here, let's run down again the games all across the region. Alphabetically, Bearden and Science Hill, Chucky Doak and North Green. Claiborne will be at Unicoi County Friday night. Cloudland and Hancock County. Cock County will be in Jonesboro to battle Crockett. Jefferson County hosting Farragut. Daniel Boone back home in Gray after losing a tough one to Elizabethton, hosting Gate City. Elizabethton will be home to Granger. Happy Valley goes to Cosby Friday night. Morristown West hosting Hardin Valley. Johnson County will go to West Green. Tennessee High will be in the Stone Castle hosting Morristown East. Oneida will be at Cumberland Gap. The Greenville Green Devils back home after the big win over Science Hill, hosting Pisgah, North Carolina. South Green will be at Sullivan North. Sullivan South hosting Sullivan Central, the bragging rights of Sullivan County. Union County hosting Sullivan East. Unaka plays at Jellicoe. Again, the Volunteer Falcons will be at Cherokee for the bragging rights of Hawkins County. And Dobbins-Bennett has an open date this week. In Southwest Virginia, Abington goes to Christiansburg. Eastside at Lehigh. Holston at Castlewood. Lebanon at John Battle. Patrick Henry at Twin Springs, Ridgeview at Union, Rye Cove, the War Eagles will be at Thomas Walker, Virginia High, the Bearcats at Wise Central, and J.I. Burton has the week off. And that's a look at high school football around the region. We are out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. Man, what a great bunch of guests we had on today for the show. Matt Swinehart with FCA Outdoors, Yvette Bryan with First FTB Advisors, Chuck Babb, the basketball coach at Happy Valley, Brad Perry, the new FCA director at Kingsport, Sullivan County. Wendy Royston with the Flames baseball. Alexis Klein with as a volunteer from Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Greg Saunders, the general manager of the Johnson City Country Club. Tanner Horton, who is a lifesaver for the office manager here at the Country Club. And, of course, Steve McCauley, the executive director. So a great bunch of folks. And Mike Hedrick on the phone with us from Northern Virginia, our NASCAR reporter. So it's been a good show, and we're out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. Tomorrow we take the show on the road to Phil's Dream Pit, the quest for perfect barbecue off Eastern Star exit of Interstate 26. You're talking about some great, great barbecue. We'll be there broadcasting live there tomorrow. Wednesday we'll be at Chick-fil-A. Thursday at Champion Chevrolet, Friday at Food City, and Gray on a Food City Friday. So for Steve McCauley and all the folks at the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, again, thanks for giving us a watch and listen until we greet you tomorrow at 11 o'clock from Phil's Dream Pit, Eastern Star exit of Interstate 26. Until then, we will tell you, win or lose, be a good sport. So long from the Johnson City Country Club and the Fellowship of Christian Athlete Golf Tournament. So long, everybody.